Foreword. There is no education without some form of media. The field of educational media is a growing area of interest in education, as educational policy papers on the digital agenda, the rapid expansion of media sections in national and international educational research associations, and the range of academic books on media in education show. Educational media are crucial to producing knowledge and shaping educational practices. Conflicts over the contents of textbooks and curricula, widely discussed in the daily news, illustrate how many different stakeholders are invested in sharing their particular understandings of our shared past, the current society, and potential imagined futures with the younger generation. Policymakers, politicians, and activists regard educational media as important tools which not only foster young people's media skills and world knowledge, but which also shape which ways of living are considered desirable or even legible. Textbooks and other educational media are deeply embedded in the socio-political contexts in which they are developed and used. Given this context, alongside the emerging interest in digital technology in education, the Palgrave Studies in Educational Media series takes stock of current research on educational media by focusing on three issues. First, today's vibrant and dynamic research and scholarship on technology stems from a broad range of disciplines, including sociology, history, cultural studies, memory studies, media studies and education, and also information, computer and cognitive science. Traditionally, this research has drawn on textbooks and other educational media in order to engage with specific disciplinary questions, such as device-specific reading speed or social inclusion, exclusion. Studies on educational media are only beginning to be consolidated into the kind of inter- or transdisciplinary field which can build and develop on insights generated and exchanged across disciplinary boundaries. Second, the majority of work in this field is focused on best practices, individual learning processes, or concerns over the risks involved when young people use technology. There are still relatively few studies which attend, empirically or conceptually, to the embeddedness of educational media in contemporary cultural, social and political processes, and to the historicity of the media used in education. If we see educational media as a highly contested and thus crucially important cultural site, then we need more studies which consider media in their contexts, and which take a carefully critical or generative approach to societal concerns. Third, current work emerging in this field has turned its attention to computers and other digital technologies. Yet looking at today's educational practices, it is clear that 1. They are by no means predominantly digital and simultaneously 2. Post-digital practices abound in which the digital is no longer seen as new or innovative, but is integrated with other materials in daily teaching and learning. The potentials and risks of digital education emit a fascination for politicians, journalists and others concerned with the future of education, and are undoubtedly important to consider. Empirical observations of education around the globe, however, demonstrate the reach and visibility of a broad range of media, textbooks, blackboards, Lego, etc., as well as the post-digital blending of digital and non-digital media in contemporary educational settings. Palgrave Studies in Educational Media aims to address these three issues in an integrated manner. The series offers a dedicated space which brings together research from across the academic disciplines, encouraging dialogue within the emerging space of educational media studies. It showcases both empirical and theoretical work on educational media which understands these media as a site of cultural contestation and socio-political force. The focus lies primarily on schools, across the school subjects. The series is interested in both local and global perspectives, in order to explore how educational media are entangled with broader debates about continuity and change in today's society, about classroom practices, inclusions and exclusions, identifications, subjectivations, economies and global political projects. We are delighted to present this fourth book in the series, on the interplay of educational media and memory practices in the classroom when teaching the history of the Cold War. Increasingly used as a label to cover the whole period between 1945 and 1989, the Cold War is now, as the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall approaches, an increasingly institutionalized issue. Numerous handbooks and journals are dedicated to the topic. Specialized research institutes and museums are opening up around the world, bringing global perspectives to the period. This institutionalization goes hand in hand with increased awareness of the contested nature of the subject, with lively debates opening up in both scholarly and public spaces. Global perspectives have become more prominent. There is a strong awareness that not only has the East collapsed, but there is also uncertainty as to what the West stands for and indeed whether it remains a useful concept. The Cold War in the Classroom. International Perspectives on Textbooks and Memory Practices explores how the memory of the Cold War, the story of the confrontation between East and West that was once crucial for the articulation of political identities all over the world, is negotiated in history textbooks, teacher narratives and history classrooms. It brings together perspectives from Africa, Asia, Europe and Latin America. The volume not only introduces new approaches to the field of educational media studies by orienting to the uptake of textbook discourse in classroom practice, and by embedding the analysis of textbook discourse in its socio-economic and political contexts. It also enriches memory studies by shifting attention from the rather more settled memories of the two world wars to the still very much disputed memory of the Cold War. It does so by concentrating not only on the representation but also on the appropriation of mediated memory, and finally by introducing the social space of the school as a fertile but still under-researched location for memory studies. Brunswick, Germany. November 2018. Eckhart Fuchs. Felicitas McGilchrist.